Welcome back once again. My name is Jamie Michael, and this is Jamie's Reviews. And you guys have been requesting, almost demanding, this one. And like I always say, we're just here to give the people what they want. So today, with the help of Vinny Ray, we're here to give you our thoughts on the newest racing shoe from Hoka, the Hoka One One Carbon X. Now you may have heard of Hoka's Project X event, where some of the Hoka athletes took on the challenge of going for various world records. And well, when it was all said and done, the 50-mile record was set, and the Carbon X was the shoe to get the job done. And while that's all fine and dandy, the question remains, what can this shoe do for your everyday runner or elite jogger like myself? Well, let's not waste any more time and get straight into it. So the upper uses a single layered engineered mesh with a semi-attached style tongue. It's a pretty basic setup that provides what I like to call simplicity. The mesh is thin enough to feel light on foot, but still sturdy enough to hold the foot in place. And the Carbon X has pretty good breathability. Now the tongue is also mesh, which caused me to worry about possible rubbing issues. But there is a thin silk-like lining underneath the tongue that kept the shoe feeling seamless and irritation-free. And although the upper is simple by design, it provides the support that many racing shoes lack. There is a tad of padding around the ankle collar and around the heel. I found it to be just enough to add to the comfort of the shoe, without losing that race shoe feel. The heel cup itself is on the flexible side, and had some stitched on overlays to help provide some structure. But I don't think it really did much. I mean, it looks nice, but if you're someone who likes a real sturdy heel cup, this probably won't get it done. It felt good to me, and I had no issues with heel slipping. Now we did notice an EVA layer that kinda cupped around the foot and around the heel, almost like a guide rail. We believe that this is what helped maintain the secure fit of the shoe. Combine that with the wider base footbed and accommodating toe box, we had a winner. The overall upper was pretty good. And although we didn't need to use it, the extra lace loops was nice to have to adjust the fit. If you need to, you have the option. But the coolest part has to be the pull tab. It's straight fire. So moving on to the midsole, we got a lot going on. Starting with the top layer, we have the new ProFly X cushioning. This is a slightly modified EVA that we found to be on the softer side. And after running in the Carbon Rocket earlier this year, we found this foam to provide a much more forgiving ride. Whether if you are a heel or midfoot striker, you would feel the cushioning throughout the shoe, regardless of how you land. Now right below the ProFly X cushioning, you got what makes all the magic happen. Combined with Hoka's Meta Rocker technology, you got a full-length carbon plate. Now carbon plates seem to be the cool thing nowadays, so we expected the carbon plate to provide a more propelling sensation. And after trying it for a variety of runs, I would say that that's exactly what it did. Propel us forward, for the most part. Now while on slower paces, you won't really get much from it. But once you get some momentum going, that's when we really started feeling more of that faster, engaged feel. The combination of the Meta Rocker and the carbon plate felt like it helped get our foot strike to be a bit more efficient on the later miles of a longer run. The final layer of rubber is the ground contact rubberized EVA, that is a bit more on the stiff end, to help provide a bit more rigidity and stability. It is pretty stiff and makes the shoe itself not very flexible, which is pretty much the theme of most Hoka shoes. And combine that with the carbon plate, you won't be flexing anytime soon, unless you're just showing off. You see what I did there? But the shoe not being flexible is kind of why the Meta Rocker is needed, to help give the Carbon X a smoother transition within the shoe. And most shoes with carbon plates are just stiffer, and that's just part of what you get. Some will like it. Some may prefer a standard racing flat, but that in itself may be the deciding factor if the Carbon X is worth your time. The outsole is pretty much a continuation of the ground contact EVA rubber. As you can see, there's no added rubber, and many of these racing shoes nowadays are using less rubber to save weight, so I get it. Traction on dry surfaces was decent. I was able to use the shoe between various terrains throughout the week, and you will be fine on any road-like surface that is dry. Wet grass and slick surfaces, including mud, is a no-go. And since we're already on the outsole, if you look closely, you can actually see the carbon plate through the shoe. So that's cool. You know it's there. So the Carbon X checked most of the boxes of what I was wanting in a carbon plate racing shoe. But even then, it's not all perfect. And I understand there's always going to be some give and take. So while the shoe does have a wider base, a good amount of cushioning, and a more supportive feel, these benefits add up in weight. Now, I wouldn't call the shoe heavy, but when looking at the stat sheet, there's going to be that thought of the shoe not being as light as it could be. Now, the other thing is the foam itself. Now, while the cushioning is plush and provides a decent bounce, it does not have as much as that bounce back that I've seen from other brands. When compared to Nike's Zoom X or Skechers Hyperburst, it's just not quite as bouncy. But I would say if the Zoom X is considered a 10, the ProFly X cushioning will be considered a 7 as far as energy return. But the ride of the Carbon X does feel a lot sturdier and will likely get more mileage. The carbon plate still adds that propelling sensation, which will be the main reason why anyone would be interested in trying this shoe. It makes going faster a bit easier. Now, is the Carbon X better than the Vaporfly? Not really. But I would not say that it is worse either. Besides the carbon plate, it's a different shoe with a different feel. There's pros and cons to different models of shoes. The Vaporfly will give you a bouncier foam with a narrow footprint that efficient runners will get the most out of. But for myself and Vinny Ray, the Carbon X has a much better fit, while still providing a fast, cushioned ride for a variety of foot strikes. It is a great option for those wanting to get into the carbon plate racing hype, with all the benefits of a Hoka ride and a great fit. And before you ask, yes, the shoe runs true to size. The Carbon X hits most of the marks that we want in a carbon plate racing shoe. I am a simple guy, so if the shoe fits, then I'm going to wear it, as long as it feels this good.
Well done.
Alright guys, this is the post-review review of the Hoka One Carbon X. Now you guys, well, some of you guys know that I was invited to the event, and this shoe that we're reviewing today, the 50-mile world record, was broken. So that's kind of interesting.
I'd say it's a little more than kinda.
This video was not endorsed by Hoka. Yes, they gave us the shoes, they gave her the shoes, they gave me the hat. I like the hat.
Hats fly.
But that's not gonna change how I feel about the shoe as far as like if it's good, if it's bad, if it sucks. That's not how I roll. Maybe one day, but not today. Mine's is a little dirty.
Not as dirty as mine.
Yeah, don't see the bloopers. Don't see the bloopers. All right, so everybody wants to know, how does this shoe stack up to the infamous, why are you grabbing behind my back? The Nike Vaporfly. So we have a pair here, so you've actually ran in both.
I have.
So you have perspective on both. And before I get to my whole rant about what I think, if any thoughts about this shoe by itself compared to that shoe, any thoughts?
Alright, so one thing that I do like about this shoe is I like how it's wider than this one. This one's like super narrow, and obviously this is a bigger shoe, so it's bigger. But whatever, this one's a lot narrower, and that was hard for me, especially by the end of the marathon that I used them for. This one's also a lot less squishy feeling, I guess, than this one. But I kind of like that because I feel like these are going to last a little bit longer than the Vaporfly will. But also doesn't feel quite as like springy as the Vaporfly does.
Alright, I would say the biggest difference is the foam itself. This one's going to have a softer foam on top, the metal rocker and the carbon plate, and a stiffer foam on bottom to keep the shoe more stable. Whereas the Vaporfly, you definitely get more of that springiness, squishy bounce. Mm-hmm. So like the foam itself is bouncier in Vaporfly, but this is a much more stable, like softer ride as far as just, not softer as in like the squish bounce, but just softer as far as like the comfortability of it.
Yeah, it just like feels like smoother too, like.
Yeah, so I say comfortability because there's some thing going around that you can't say the word comfortability because it's not a real word.
Yeah,
it's more comfortable.
Comfortable. Is it? Say it one more time.
Comfortability.
Comfortability.
It's not a real word, but like people get triggered when you say it. So
you don't even say the full comfortability.
But yeah, for me, I'm going with this one. It just fits what I need to fit for. I'm not a 2:30 marathoner. I'm not a 2-hour marathoner. My foot fits, like I have a full platform for my foot to sit on. I'm not going left or right. And I feel like if you're someone who overpronates and you want a carbon plate running shoe, I think this is the way to go.
I agree with that. Like, I overpronate a lot, so having this be so narrow is not ideal for me.
So, I like this. It's simple. It works. The mesh holds my foot in. You got a pull tab.
A large one.
A large
too.
pull tab. The bigger the pull tab, the better the rating from Jamie Reviews. I didn't want to say anything inappropriate, so I know you were going there. It still has that meta rocker feel. It still feels like a Hoka. For me, the Rayhe would be from like 5K to like 10K racing. The Rocket would go from 10K to a marathon. And I feel like this would go from like that half marathon and up. So there's some like blending between the two, but this one's definitely gonna go the distance for me. So I would say if I had to choose between Vaporfly and this, right now, I'm going with this. I know. But Jamie, I know. I got a wide foot. I like a comfortable ride. I like the shoe to kind of fit nice. And yes, it does weigh more. I'll say that's the biggest negative.
It's like an ounce more, right?
It's an ounce more, but people they fight for ounces here.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, this one weighs 7.1, this one weighs 8, and I can't run in an 8-ounce shoe.
It's only like 26 extra ounces of marathon if you count an ounce a mile. It's not that much.
It's like a sip of water.
Yeah. 26. That's like 3 cups and a little then some.
Yeah. Carry less goose in your pocket and that'll be the ounce you gain.
Use the goose on the course.
We might do a full comparison of this later. Let's do a comparison of the Vaporfly, the Carbon X, the Speed Elite from Skechers, and whatever else is out at the time. Like a racing flat carbon plate, like plate off.
Plate off?
Plate off. So people want us to review the Vaporfly next %.
Which percent?
The next one.
What is the next percent?
It's like 4, but it's the next one up.
So 5?
Not 5. I've had like 5 people sign up for Patreon, like to support this whole thing in like last week. So thank you guys. Cool. I'll be sure to give you guys a little credit down below in the corner here doing the bloopers. But yeah, I appreciate you guys. That's really nice of you because I'm still poor.
Me too.
It's probably we're buying all these damn shoes.
You know.
But these were free.
They're beautiful.
Just like me. And with that said, be sure to stay in school, don't do drugs, and if you can,
keep it tight.
I wanted to say it.
I know you did, that's why I said it.
Alright, well let's just show them the bloopers, because I can't wait.
Oh man.
Alright, we good. Oh my god. No! Look at it! I think the battery's dying. Don't touch it. Go down. It won't. I can't. It won't stop. Touch it. Wait. Oh!
I barely tapped it.
All right, we're done with the drone. Let's go to the running shots.
Let's do this here.
All right. And go. Oh my God. What? Oh, no. Are you okay? Oh. Oh my God. I'm gonna fall. It's so bad. Here. Oh my. The review's over. Bruh.
So muddy now.
Did y'all see that? Yeah. It was not playing, y'all. It's a home video. Oh man, I'm so sorry. I feel bad. We should have done an hour and a half ago. All right.
Are you filming?
All right, do the same thing. This time I want to record. No, it's funny. People will say like Hoka is like copying Nike, but many people don't know that the guy who made the Vaporfly
was from Hoka.
Yeah. They took the guy and they made the Vaporfly and kind of
the timing of it is.
Yeah. So people are like, they're copying Nike. No.
Nah, brah.
I think all the brands copy each other, but,